Special gift.
Yeah. Just different. Modern people, not modern people, that different.
Next to muscular.
Diabetes touch, walking. Without diabetes touch, didn't walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I am 16th, 17th centuries people. 21st century.
Can I get your volume up a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more, two more.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Sanje Chodam Choke Chona La Janjo Bado Dagi Kapsu Daji Chijenje Sona Chola
Yongam Haji Sanje
Sanje
Chodam Janjo Bado Dagi Kapsu Dagi Chonengi Besoknampi Cholam Panju Sanje
Sanje Chodam Choke
Janjo Bado Dagi Kapsu Dagi Chonengi Cholam Panju Sanje
Tayata Kate Kate Para Kate
Sangate Bodhi Swaha
Tayata Kate Kate Para Kate Para Sangate Bodhi Swaha Tayata Kate Kate Para Kate Para Sangate Bodhi Swaha Ola Suta Simja Tamjega Toja Lana Macheva Sanje Komaru Boja Chine Tobacha Teja Janjo Sima Lapjana Twishan Nawale Shimbol Toba Tuala Tuju Manoa Kotu Cosmo Labric Shuni sometimes.
So we set our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment by perfecting all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path, knowing that to perfect such trainings I need to have a perfect understanding of them, and to gain that understanding I need to be able to have confidence and to rely on a non-mistaken presentation of those practices. Therefore, I am here this morning to listen to a teaching from the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings.
And the Tugana Vesetone, and Denjola Vesetone, Yamichi Chato Challenge, when Yalichi Lajuba. And you used to travel at and Jam Jayani, and Dennis, and Casa de Jam Jayanila, and Chicasa de Takanja Jambala, Takaja, Nakasa de Tadate, Java Jambaco, Takasa, Tadade, Pava Tomato Lobby in La Soba, and Jaji Chuju, Kova. And Jambeyala, and Kombulu down, and it's Casora Takaja, Lopez Sanje Jada, Tawatabala Sobeta, Jachi, because Samotaju Lamana Joko, teach up then, Kadang Cuba Sum teacher, and teach the Jungle Lamala, Jungle Lamazonga Cuba. And then we said, do not trouble at dinner, Rangi teachers are Chudomo de Lamana Court to Vatican. And then that judicial Hazota, and then Casanga Sanjaton. And Casadata, and University Jalaso Janjos and Betorco, and then at the Casote Ranjan to Power Shujosuma Takaja, Soja Mazawa Mavachata, Taleme, Kalayu, something what in the commission.
And then also, as usual, we set up the merit field in the space in front, beginning with the essential figure of the grateful, greatly compassionate and skillful in means Shakyamuni Buddha. And then from that figure emanate light rays heading in all directions. And we follow those going upwards and behind to begin with. And they found the consecrated practices lineage of lamas, at the head of which is Vajradhara. And then to the left and the right are formed the extensive practices lineage and the profound view lineages, headed in turn by Arya Maitreya, including the likes of the great lamas Arya Asanga and Arya Vasubandhu, etc. And then these are the extensive practices lineage. And then Lord Manjushri heads the profound view lineage, including such luminaries as Nagarjuna, Uddapalita, Chandrakirti, etc. And below them then are, on both sides, are the three different schools of the Kadampa lineages, and below them again the lineage of the Geluk tradition, at the center of which is Lord Rinpoche Lama Tsongkhapa. And then we follow the lights moving from the central figure down towards the front area. And here is established all of our own teachers, at the center of which is our own root guru. And nearby and around them are the 4 tantric sets. And below them again, the Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 35 Buddhas, etc. Then the great bodhisattvas, the 8 close disciples of the Buddhas, and so on. Then the hearers and the Shravakas, and the Kartika Buddhas. And then the heroes and the Dakinis and the Dharma protectors, all the Arhats and so on. And so we feel that we have all of the members of the merit field here present without exception.
What did it set up? And set up the Takajachi. Set up and it's watching the dog and it's you want to buy to go home. What did you assume? What did you want to buy to go home? What did you? And to go home with a part of member to the Shinra Jana Chava, a Shivan, a Chantan, and a death.
Then we see that all of the members of the merit field that we are visualizing are marked by the 3 syllables. At the crown is the Om, at the throat, and A at the heart, a Hum. And from the Hum at the heart, light rays emanate into the pure realms, inviting the wisdom beings. And they come and dissolve into each member of the merit field.
And the net that's what in the dollar, that means the Takacha Yala to what did the check?
Then we make the offerings of the 7-limbed practice and the mandala offering to the merit field.
And the Twatchin the Data and ya Twatchin ya doing it. And we get power country to some of the children chicken with Yatin and Casata, Twatchin to the Tijaza Lama party. How the jungle Lama Zonga, which we keep the chiller chicken Yatin, the Katango, Cuba there Yatin, and that some of the Jajujo, that jump giant in the party. Then thank you, I don't know, like you were Lama, the chiller chicken with Yatin and Chow Dojang Timchen. And the Lamang Ngala mean, and what the Takaja Kontos, what the shop.
And then we dissolve the merit field, again beginning with the figures of the heroes, the Dharma protectors, dissolving into the grouping above them. And this continues on until all of the different levels of the merit field and front dissolve into our own root guru at the bases, or at the base of the throne holding the central figure. And then all of the figures on the left and right, beginning with the Geluk tradition, with the Lama Tsongkhapa at the center, dissolve upwards until they also dissolve into the last remaining figures there of Lord Maitreya and Lord Manjushri. And behind the central figure, the lineage of the consecrated practices dissolve upwards until we are left with the head of that lineage of Vajradhara. And so now we are left with the 5 main figures of the merit field.
And the Neta, you get the Dao Chante, and my Chocho Lamatuan Docha party, yeah, jump giant, that Lamatuan Docha. And the net Rangi Jaza Lamata, Lamatuan, Lamatuan Docha, and Ningako Nesos, and what in the Kumasha.
And then the figure of Vajradhara comes down and dissolves into the central figure, as do the figures of Lord Maitreya and Lord Manjushri from the left and right. And then finally our own root guru comes up to the heart center of the figure, the main figure, and dissolves into the heart center of the central figure.
What did it do? And Tagarala, and so produce a debate because of which they long to chance so this what so produce the check what check.
And then maintaining a single pointed focus on that central figure, we offer the stake-like prayer. My most divine Guru, Lord of the 4 Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, My most divine Guru, Lord of unimpeded Dharmakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, etc. So this process of, on the one hand, establishing or expanding out the merit field and thereafter dissolving the merit field, this has a dual purpose in that, on the one hand, it is a special basis, as we know, for the accumulation of merit and the purification of negativity. But the very process of this expanding out and dissolving back is also good for controlling the mind, for drawing the mind inwards, and in that sense, collecting our thoughts, in a sense, collecting our mind together like that. And so this is really, it's a way of mind training, and training the focus of the mind, really. In that now we're training it in order to be able to expand out towards virtue and the accumulation of virtue, getting more expansive and imaginative in accumulating virtue, and then also withdrawing from non-virtue and so on. And so in this way, it's that sense of moving away from the general tendency that we have to get completely distracted into all sorts of negativity and distraction without any kind of control at all. But it's here saying that in order to really focus the mind, we need to start this process of controlling.
And
so, we have to remind ourselves too that the purpose of our going for refuge in this sense to the merit field, of being able to appreciate the qualities of the merit field like this, is in order for us to ultimately emulate those same qualities. We want to generate the same qualities in our own mind stream in order to be able to work for the benefit of the sentient beings, and that is our objective. And that's why, the setting up of the merit field, the dissolving of the merit field, and so on, can be so effective, an effective basis for purification and accumulation. Now, next we establish a variegated lotus, the sun and moon disc mandala seat on our own crown, prior to inviting the figure at the center of the last remaining figure in the merit field, Guru Manindra Vajradhara, to come and sit there. And we recite the invocation verse 3 times. At the end of the first recitation, the figure begins that journey. At the second, arrives, and at the third, we feel that they have really are going to remain steadfast on our crown until we ourselves attain enlightenment. O glorious and precious Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. And we rejoice at this point that we have a figure such as Guru Maninja Vajradhara now to really look after us, to really to care for us until we ourselves are able to attain that state of enlightenment. That's wonderful. And then we make the seven-limbed offering and the mandala offering as well for the accumulation of merit and the purification of negativity.
Ruwa kecha chana sum tsua sani ta pina kasate pajativa onda chana ta kecha chana sum ke tsua ta tsua tsua pa che chana ina sanje kuma chukugu yudu ta kanja je jijan ta kasate jeso pajaduga ta nyamlenja ta jeso pajaduga ta kasa jimba da ina kasa tsujim da ina kasa ta soba da tsuju digate 또 뒤에서 가서 슈사베 개차래. 루아 슈사베 개차. 다 다른데 삼대 가도 들리다 말해. 루아. 그래. 루아. 그래. 어떤데 전다 간자 좀. 그래. 어떤데 전다. 딱 가가 들렸다.
이 기아상 갑중갑송.
다 되나다 삼대 개념이었다. 삼대 개념에 저다 간자 집올라면 다 삼대 거다 집어 수주 다 간자 지금 람림기 다 냠는 지겐데 냠는 저다 퇴상 범서 지겐데 조 슈거 저다 지 차상와 지 신차바체 신 차자지 갈가자 신차바체는 다 네가 땡도 지간을 되네 대지간을 되나 다 냠스 거를 랑고도 세어도 아니 그 람림기 쇼도 레고 요르바 레고 다 레고 다 되게 저다 갈가자 신차네 다 되게 다 가서다 같이 고로게 녀바니네 다 가르치고도 쓰는 다데 유리게 받치고도 다 그래서 지고도 쓰라바이나 오다 때도 지가나 다 과신이 된주네 전 아니 기부 체제 충성고 대전 아니 대바치 빌랑 안 되네 대바치 자주가 샘께는 저발 랍주 보다다 다 같이 지금 다 때도 지가라 다 냠스 그랬을랑고도 써 저바도 냠스랑다 숨고요 봐 다디도 지금 남배 쪽에 내당 믹스게 택바체배 쪽에 저다 갈라간 좀 신전이다 그래서 냠술랑 그것도 써 저다들 되기도 하고 되게
And so having introduced ourselves to the teachings pertinent to the Mahayana vehicle, we found that once one generates that mind of enlightenment, it is then necessary to engage in the activities of the Bodhisattva, namely the perfections, the 6 perfections and the 4 ways of accumulating disciples. And this is the process by which we can accumulate the necessary merits over 3 countless great eons in order to attain the state of enlightenment. And we have, to a certain extent, covered the first 4 of those perfections, generosity, ethics, patience, and enthusiastic effort. And we're about to look into the generation of concentration or meditation, perfection of that. And it's in the context too of the graduated path teachings, as it says that the one special quality of the graduated path teachings is that when one gains even a kind of a coarse or rough understanding of the entire path, then one is capable of being able to really look into that and practice that on one seat over one session of practice. From the teachings on how to relate to a spiritual teacher right up to the point of the generation of the mind of enlightenment, etc., the practices of these 6 perfections. And so here, this is the one key, or one of the great qualities of this graduated path approach. And so here it's really saying, this is once you have the knowledge, and now this is how you put it into practice. And so, in terms of this fifth perfection, the perfection of concentration, here where our intention is to be able to perfect all of the different types of concentration related to the Bodhisattva path and the Bodhisattva activities. And so here this includes in terms of, and of course our motivation is always, whilst reminding ourselves that we have our own guru on our crown, and that we are wishing to attain the state of enlightenment quickly in order to benefit all sentient beings, that we are recalling that there are different categories of concentration that must be perfected. In terms of the nature, we have the mundane and the supramundane levels of concentration. In terms of the different types or wings of the practice, there is the practice of mental quiescence and special insight, and then the combination of both of them together. And then in terms of the functions of concentration, one of the functions is that it enables us to experience a mental and physical bliss in this life, and it also acts as the basis of good qualities, and also allows us to be far more efficient in working to benefit sentient beings. And so please, Guru Deity, please bless me to be able to generate all of these levels of concentration.
하와도 안에 데데 삼den게 냠레 잡아라 바도 주제 디바타 만나니 되죠 삼산체 아니 나니니 되네 아니 다 데데 삼데 냠레 타치바주 용알라 아니 퇴제 가리 바이나다 개견제 퇴제도 저 야구식 중소수 어디로 고마시 말 어디죠.
So then we see the nectar lights descending from the Guru on our crown, and purifying all of the negativities and obscurations in general that might interfere with our perfecting the six perfections, and in particular this perfection of concentration. And so that is dealt with. And then also we have the nectar light, which is kind of like endowing us with the ability to fulfill our potential of completing the perfection of concentration as quickly as possible and eradicating any obstacles to that.
되게 되게 수반에 시대 다들 냠수 라네다 그래서 저도 당겨라 갈아가서 시행차네 아니다 냠래 막 공지네 뭐 보통 배추당다 지고 열어 지고 열어 어디서 다 지나 저 가서데 다 땡에서 거미에게 쪼다 잡아다 땡에서 거미에게 내래 다가는 시기 땡게 참고래 아니 요제되게 다 줄어라 다 같이 땡에서 겁당이다 퉁게되게 상황 제네 아니 개전 잡아 제네 아니 디가저 아니 녀방가봉 두세게 로와 왔다 데데고네 다 땡에서 누구고 열어 아니 땡에서 샘데베 탑고스 왔는데 전다 땡에서 다 왔다 같이 레다 같이 우다다 다 도대견다 되존나 소에다 보다 그저 중점문에 소에 되게 데 안다가니 센터 라브리체 존스 되존나네 다 디게 콘도는 숨거와 왔다 디게 데 조사데 시바체 데 게침으로와 어떻게
And so here, of course, this is dealt with very briefly, this perfection here, and it will be dealt with more extensively soon. And indeed, how to put the trainings into concentration, into practice. How does, and the main objective is, of course, how do we sustain the focus on a chosen object of focus, of concentration, and that here we'll see about how to place the mind, how to sustain that placement of mind on our chosen object, and how to deal with the 5 faults of concentration, and by applying the 8 adjustments and so on. And indeed, and much of this is found in different sutras, like the ornament to the, or different commentaries, like the ornament to the sutras and so on. And that there's a great deal, actually, of details about dealing with what kind of place one should find, what kind of attitude one should have in beginning such a practice and so on.
And then what that Satengata and Comrim Labakamalashi Comrim or Comrim Patasum, what I did Nalolan, Gavasum, what I did, Dakaja Ketchy. Shungchemo, Tata, too much, and Yamsland Kirchable. Timber, what did Lame Mengari, Sona? Shungchemo Mengada, Java making Mengadi, Shungchemo, the Java making Chimaina, Mengada, Shungchemo Chavan, Shungchemo Tango. Shungchemo Ketchum, what that in the Jem, what in the Jata, Chimenga, Shungchemo the Tubajana, Koyapurwa. Yaburwa, what up, what did it? Takaji, what a Shungchimo deserve, what a Shungchimo dezuna, and Yabangabon, to say Gagatone, and that Chicasore, Sem, because Semia to touch, Sungudwa, what did it? Yabangabola, Takacha, Lelos Chichantua, Tamache was check, Jiwada Kuvache, and Jiwada Kuvache, and Tumicheva the Nevache, Jiwada Kuva Maju said, and I have to Java the Nevache.
And so that yes, in general, that in finding out the different details, how to engage in practice of developing these kind of concentrations, one must rely on the great texts, like as mentioned, the Ornament to the Sutras, and the 3 books on meditation by Kamala Shila. These are very, very important, and that we should understand that we should see that our meditations are in harmony with the instructions given in such teachings. We should also rely on the personal instructions from a guru. These also are important, but where personal instructions from a guru diverge from the instructions given in the great texts, one should favor the teachings of the great texts and discount those instructions from the guru. And of course, it's best if one can find that the instructions from our guru are in harmony with also what is explained in the great text. This is best. And so here, of course, one will talk about the 5 different faults that one must deal with in order to perfect the concentrations, such as laziness, such as forgetting the object, or losing the object, and then also, of course, mental sinking and mental excitement, and then also there's the non-application of an antidote to that sinking, or the over-application of an antidote when it's not needed. And these are particular faults that are very pertinent to the perfection of concentration.
That is a Tangudela, that thing is a Jumajo, the Kyo Chichu, Lelo, Tango to Kawaii, Kawaii.
And so it's no surprise to hear that the main fault of these 5 in developing concentration is the first, laziness. And as Genra says, well, that's number 1 fault in everything that we do, isn't it?
Lelo, the Tang Chidang to Kase, Lelo la Casana, Rota, Kachate, Tengen to draw you guys go to Kashi Joshing on the 2 you guys. That didn't come into your marwa. Come into your marwa. Tata Mojo the Casana, 这个说的当然来了的他本来这个可是考虑中央的现在的可是的可能定业的了他的来了加完面这个来了记录过来了大年了年来了我他这个这个给的我他羡慕我的他当然反正他的告诉我的嘛这些讲的定个这个原点通来的给全部了原点通来的电话结果是吧但是第一年不得了时间了他感觉来了个年不得了时间对吧对吧尊重아니 신장 성취 용라 다 신장 성취 다 시용부로 그래서 땡에这个原点통고原点통에 대봐 땡에这个给吧이나 아니原点가리 요래 이原点这个통아 이나 아니 저 가서도 다这个이 통아 이나 아니 될미베 다 그저 좀 되고 로케다 아니 연구로 와다
And so here, of course, you can see how obviously laziness would be a major obstacle to the development of concentration because one actually needs tremendous enthusiasm, the delight in someone, eagerness to be able to sustain this practice until one becomes skilled. And that, we talked about laziness before in the context of enthusiastic effort, and we talked about the laziness of being attached to negative activities, the laziness of procrastination, of putting things off, and then the laziness of defeatism. And of course, these all, you can see very clearly that these are going to be relevant here as obstacles to overcome in the development or cultivation of concentration. But it's the general quality too. And so in terms of that particular first fault, it takes the first four of the adjustments to be able to counteract that as the antidotes to that. And they are, on the one hand, a faith that we have, a really aspiration, say, I will develop concentration. And then there's the yearning and the wishing to be able to do that. There's kind of a more intensive sense of aspiration. And then there's perseverance. That we will put the hard yards in order to be able to cultivate concentration, and then a certain suppleness to be able to sit and so on to overcome laziness. So all of these kind of act in concert in order to counteract the lazy tendencies that we have to give up too easily and so on.
感觉这等个这个原点团的，他等个这给我一那，他感觉这个三点五十来说吧，等点用也的，他那些个这个他本来这个设定了一呢，他旅行这个八票不是难图也，俺这个可是他所说的这个说的，他本来送告给，如果他个他这个几点被等个这一呢，他第主图也。 지들 대비 된게 전에 뒤도다 다가자 들라들 타바도 탐지 쳐발아서 두두 다데 가자 저 된게 저거 연대 망고 통한다 아니 셈 미발을 가봐 샤와이네 아니 배 소소 대반이 샤투 얘기 되게 용투 요바 되게 아니 지 중앙도 아니 대 연대 약고 통하이나 아니 들 대바 쟁거로 와 다가자 뒤좀 되게 연대 통해 아니 대바 다디가 거저 대바체 다디가 대바 될라 때네 가리온 거였으나 다 아니 가서 땡을 제기라 되네게 두바디 용 되기로 와 어떻게 맞으나 타면도 다들 죽고도 삼삼지 두바디 용 것도 와 아니 땡에 대대 두바디 좋아한데 아니 배주 근데 제발에 강해요 말아 배주 제대로 용 거로 좀 많이 용 거로 와 뒤라 뒤주 땅도 거로 좀 많이 용 거로 와다 대대 좋아이나 아니 뒤 대보디 가리온 것은 아니 신장선 류신자的샘신장선 我大概在这，我等这刚才没给用这个的哇，用这个，但这个的，当初呢，新疆用的给用嘛的，人家等这，他会觉得这边找到也不行吧？人家，如果他等这了，等吧，等看用过的是呢，等那个东北用过多，等怎么接触过多，等的旅行家的新疆用过的，等干什么？当然我说新疆的旅行家的新疆来说吧，等这个。 屯年等这个这部这个说说没完人家， and those children a Kalekatega, Tancheta, Lule Kangata, similar Kangata. Unajana, Tengating Lucim, Dewa nature, Modula, Dewa nature Sama, the two Kangata, and also did Dumba Yomarwa. And then you then Tongo Yomar, but you and then Tonchi the Kazam Sona, and a coach Lucilla on you to it, on you to Koran and the Kanga make a good one. That they get to another Shibayana and she never called so much Yonguru Tati because the thing is you and then Tone and a Teleteva and the thing is to do Tumba and a Tele so much to do your take it and then Teletena Lucy the same Shijak Teva you could have some such order. I'm going to Leluk de Card one. That was touching some new some down Yana Yando Samotani. Yana Yando Samotando and the consultant to a page on good one.
So then the way in which to apply these adjustments or these antidotes to laziness is interesting in that we have to build up really an irresistible argument for ourselves so that we reach a point where, gosh, I really have to develop mental physical this concentration. I can't see no other alternative. I must do it. I have to be able to cultivate this. And so it's kind of like a certain aspiration that is further inspired by beginning with that first of the adjustments, really faith. And faith comes from informing ourselves. And so we have talked about one of the functions of concentration is to produce mental and physical bliss. And that this is something that is very highly desirable, of course, to be able to cultivate that. And so one has to have, in reading up the different causes that lead to such a result, we gain a certain conviction. And this it can be developed into a faith in the whole process to say that, okay, if I do X, Y, and Z, it will lead to developing this kind of concentration and experiencing this kind of mental and physical bliss. And so this begins the process. Then we can enhance that faith itself through this yearning, developing a strong yearning aspiration to put something in place, to actually do something about developing this. So it's kind of like really calling on our resources to be able to put them all into play to develop concentration. And this in this kind of seeps into the third of the adjustments, this sense of perseverance. They're saying, I'm never giving up. I'm going to stick with this. And so this brings in, of course, an enthusiastic effort into it as well, because one can really see the connection between cause and effect and saying, okay, it's perfectly reasonable to assume that if I establish these kinds of causes as have been explained in the texts as I have read them, that such a result will arise. And then the fourth of the adjustments is like this kind of like the adjustment that is indeed itself a result. And so from really putting our effort in, we feel this increasing sense of control over body because we have control over mind. And this then produces the physical and mental suppleness, pliancy, that is so conducive to furthering our concentration. And this kind of produces a bliss of mind as well. And so we can see how these particular four adjustments, as they're referred to, counteract the major fault of laziness. Because if we don't have that sort of inspiration and enthusiasm and aspiration built on the faith that of conviction from knowing the causes that lead to that effect, then we're stuck with this kind of like dull effort we put into it, experiencing then bodily pain, aches, and mental frustration. And so this then is just feeding into the kind of laziness that has not been counteracted at all. And so our career of developing mental concentration will be extremely short and unsuccessful.
그래다 나라도 단다 땡에 저거 연대 통과 매번 인사 아니 땡에 저 두개가 좀 마시다 용거야 말 다도 무르에 소에는 뭐서 배조 잡고도 무 소와이나 아니 저거 그발 저 고해 되게 라그를 써서 하고 요라티 디기 교인사 땡에 저 디기 교인사 소시다 요 말과 다이나 땡에 저 라규를 깨와 이나 아니 루신자의 셈신자의 대화도 좀 다 가소라다 지금 유튜브 차에게 대화디 거기서 된다 매되겠지. 도사 매되겠지.
So we really need to understand the qualities of meditative concentration, of what is to be gained by developing such concentration. It's like if it's money, we all have this sense of, if I put a great deal of effort into accumulating money, it's going to produce happiness. And that's a clear, we see that a clear cause and effect, we think anyway. But, we have to understand that if we put the effort into developing concentrations, it's going to produce mental and physical pliancy, which in turn produces mental and physical bliss. And, when we talk about that kind of feeling, that kind of bliss, it's not possible for even the richest person in the world to even imagine such a feeling.
먼저 다른 이제 무여반은 가리 거고 없나 강박거나 강박 다 가리 거나 녀쪽으로 삼사 저어 봐. 튼제 망고 둡쪽으로 땡게제 온게 딜레 튼제 망와 땡게제 온게 땡게제 다 돈이 도베 셔라블라서 바뀌네. 아니 즉 답변에 팔람소로 토바이나 아니 랑 가와사바이나데 레투고요 와다. 로다 돈이 모소도 도베다 장세 파파소로지나 랑 가와사메 델레 두고요. 때 땡게제 온 걸 리고요 봐. 랑 가와서 건남도 고고 남도 되들 시다교가래. 시다교가 아니 시다교가래. 아니 다가네 생게 즉 가서데 랑게 되베 되는데가 돼. 딱저 가서래요. 저기 배주시다 때뭐 배주를 맞도 봐서 용돼 지기. 그래도 왔다. 이나 나라서 봐. 배샤여 무여나 아니 투자다 된다 온다. 소소 대화해 봐 저거 다 되게 돼. 그 체지도 와. 편도에 체죠. 땡에서 온게 아니 되게도 그 체요 말이야. 체요 말이야. 어떻게 나 되게 간 먼저 당보시나 뭐 추고도 와. 네가 하도는 어떤 나바이 인스가 심지어 탐제도 산제 고바 두기 인스가 어떻게 또 뭐 트베 돈에다 배주 만원 와줘야 돼 캐치 버려도 와.
And so money can buy us a house, and buy us articles, and buy us this and that and the other thing. But in terms of meditative concentration, there's so much more that can be gained through perfecting this perfection of concentration, and that we can access the wisdom of emptiness. We can access the Arya paths. The control of our mind is such that wherever we place our focus, that we can focus on, and to even having the ability to move our bodies, to emanate our bodies, and so on, and that in terms of having great riches of money wealth, there's still a limit to what one can buy, and indeed the effort that one has to earn such money is limited. Here, once we have the control of the mind like this, we can place our mind, experience what we experience, and do what we do effortlessly. And that here, again, the happiness gained from money is limited, but the happiness gained from mental and physical pliancy served by concentration is limitless. And so once we understand the results that will ensue from our efforts, then that will indeed fuel our inspiration and our aspiration in those efforts.
다 돈이 더 배셔라 알리 마게와 이네 땡에지 비다 보여 이게 something 무시 게와 이나 게와 치마들 캄말게 도도와 감 고마를 깨봐 이나 아니 배 깨봐 망고 내두고 요래 아니 땡에 진 대화녀는 다시 대화도 전부는 알아서 대외 감라 대화도 요 말이 근데 대화 전부 땡에 진 대화 전부 요한테 아니 돈이 또 와셔 맞게 봐 이네 삼대는 무엇이 깨네 다 실라 가서 직대배 남라 때네 직대배 남라 때다 직대배 대배 맞다 직대배 남라 때다 직대배 대바도 시험 보라 직대배 남라 때 봐이네 아니 삼대 무엇이 깨네 감 고마를 깨봐 다 전부는 미 같이 주주고 인바인스네 아니 로드도 준주 개주시는 시도 그래 아니 무이디가 굿바이로 개개가 말와 something 땡에 전 공개디 아니 something 무식게네 디 땡에 전기 디 톱기 땡에 전디 아니 개와 치마데 아니 이거 가서 송가발에 깨네 또 개바 뭐 대화년에 대해도 봐 아니 직대면 남살다 다 직대는 대벨람 사모동반이 겁나다 타바도 탐지게뭐 톱주고 요래 다지 다디가 네가 연대되는 사모단다 항상이다 아니 칼에 잡아대 잡고 쳐봤어 칼에 잡아 있는 중재도 와 직대면 뭐도 대칼에 딱 또또 잡고래 가서 뭐서 사고래 통고래 뭐서 레당과 인상 마사바 대두고 말다 얘네 뒤 개치주지 봐 얘나 아니 뒤 처음에 계속 차기도 와
So also the great breadth of experience that is available within the development of these kinds of concentration needs to be examined. For example, from the development of even the mundane levels of concentration, one can be reborn in the higher realms. And be able to sustain such bliss through concentration there for eons at a spell. And here, this kind of bliss is simply not available to us here in the desire realm. And indeed, however rich a person may be, they may live, on to 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100. They will die after such a brief time, and indeed have to leave all their wealth behind as well. And so it's a paltry kind of reward compared to, for example, somebody reborn in the form realm, in having developed one of the different 4 levels of concentration there, can sustain a very blissful state, maintain a blissful state for eons at a time. And remember, this is still just the mundane levels of concentration we're talking about. If we develop the supra-mundane concentrations, of course, these are focused on the wisdom realizing emptiness, which of course leads to liberation from cyclic existence altogether, and ultimately the omniscient state of enlightenment. And so here, when we understand what's at stake, I suppose, what's our capacity here in developing concentration, and then we there's good reason for the effort that we can put in. We can see that it is a reasonable relationship between cause and effect, and so therefore we will have a strong aspiration, strong kind of store of energy to give to the project of developing such concentrations.
아니 지금 그래서 샘게 아니 뉴바디 배주 땅네 아니 대화 줍다 지기도 와 동네 셋업 지기도 와 그래서나 대화도 동네 세계 7월에 연구 매봐도 낭샘바 십시 타고 제바제바는 아니 샘 뒤마들로 연구 요바 인사 아니 샘 뒤답래 때네 아니 되게 줍다 쳤어 샘 뒤답을 때네 되게 줍다 제도 아니 그 샘게 조다도 차사 심배 돈에 아니 같이 두고도 아니 데 도토가 이나 아니 생고 연대니까 뭐도 중앙도 아니 그 사제 그리고 요바 인사 아니 산제 고마 톱토가 중고 열봐 거다 거도 생리 내당 문에데 무엇이 마신 거 돈에 안 대화 좀 단데 개바 차고도 와.
And this points to the great disparity between the scientific way of establishing happiness and the Buddhist way of establishing happiness. Indeed, the happiness is something that is in a way very different referent points within the two disciplines, and that here the scientific mode is dependent on how happiness is derived from an external matter in a way. It's very much based on that. Whereas the Buddhist point of view says that happiness comes from within, from the mind itself, from consciousness, from being able to control our consciousness. And that here, in Buddhism, we recognize the great potential of our own minds, and in this way, how it can we can through controlling our mind, we can experience a great deal of happiness and alleviate a great deal of suffering. And this comes from mind control. This is absolutely essential. Mind control through knowing the workings of the mind itself, on the different qualities of consciousness, how that we have Buddha nature, and on the basis of that we can actually develop our mind's potential exponentially to attain the state of Buddhahood itself. And so we can see there's a vast disparity between the goals and the methods used in science as opposed to the Buddhist point of view.
다가자 샘드답라 도나 마제나 아니 먼저 되베 디게도 주마도 타쳐버려. 배나 배조다 치 튼제 같제 야제 조에 최제 샘드답라 삼로당 마도가 이나 아니 동에 대화시 용전네. 다니세다 지금 저번에는 가서 남주 통한대들에 아니 15지 튼제 야고 요네 샘드답고 돌아 아니 도나 마제가 제바이나 미드베 강에체 아니 샘마지와 차야다 아니 소사지에다 배조 친구들은 뭐 용원들이 도와. 그 가르쳐 다던 것은 치 튼게 죽어라 라내가 매번 난그 쌤 뒤마디고 토네 아니 디기 용맥이 켜봐쇼고 요와 인자 안디 차대고 열봐. 차대고 열봐. 다 디가 되고 저 사람 다 디가 저 당간제 다다데 땡에제 두비에다 디게 되는가 아니 쌤이 니바 공배도 당해시도 쌤이 니바디 아니 니바디 아니 제가 또 답고 전에다 배주 땅 도에치도 거땡에 저 공부 열어봐.
And so this process of searching for happiness and wanting to avoid suffering is really a pointless exercise if we don't include the training of the mind, the control over mind itself. And that we can see how this mistake plays out amongst very rich people in many ways, and that they can have all of the wealth of the world and yet be constantly encountering problems with the wealth, having the wealth itself, and problems in their own mind, that they see that money doesn't buy happiness, and so they are unhappy. And many times you see here of suicides amongst those who are actually quite well off, quite wealthy. This shows very clearly that there is far too much focus on external means of trying to establish happiness, and no attention to the source of real happiness, which is in controlling our own mind. And so this is the difference. Concentration is something that recognizes that potential in the mind to be able to gain control so that we are using our consciousness, using our awareness, using our mind in the best way possible.
샘게 말아서 디기디 안치 튕게 또다 라리게다 개치주도 샘 뒤마도 토는 용거 요바 인자 샘 뒤마도 토는 용거 요바서 아니 샘 뒤답 소와 조게데 샘 뒤답 그 냠살랑게 미디 소사제와 미시바와 suicide cheva misibare yon misibare ta ani korati tunje kandechi yago ineta tunje mewa ineta semla kange mewa chi totugu dwa because ko zawa tabde ani semla rally go yoba ko sebu shibu chabro ta dige dindu an dige nga chi kaso ngo dona chechen ta tangpa manwa chi de shibu ke chembo de dwa redwa
So here, it's very important for us to understand how the mind is paramount in the pursuit of happiness and the avoidance of suffering. And of course, we can't discount that there is some connection with the external conditions that we're living in. But still, the main engine, really, of our own happiness is the control of our own mind. And this becomes, clearly important. Somebody who has that level of control, who has cultivated that level of control, then they are not overthrown by external conditions, such as, for a person like that, the suicide would seem to be impossible to contemplate. That here, and such a person is not, controlled by the external conditions, whether they are extremely good and conducive, or whether they are very poor and inconducive, because they have the control that they seek is within, and they have that control. And so it's really important for us to pay attention to this aspect of our lives, this potential that we have, and indeed in the pursuit of it to really make unmistaken choices.
다 레로다 디게 다데서 된데 이제 초망보다 살로다는 거다 내가 진짜 마두가 타면도서 다 이네 님았다보다 말도 망제 지금 내가다 지자는 되네 이번에도 거다도면 이네디 개츠보세 땡게저 연된 통전에 아니 참참 도서서야 뒤주 당전에 도서 검을 잡도나 야고 여버 어떤데 체
And of course it's very much aware, we are very much aware that with such a busy life, with work and so on, that it is very difficult to be able to set aside the kind of time necessary to develop the concentrations that are being described here. But we should always have the sense of it being very important to develop such qualities and to have the aspiration to, at some stage, put some time aside where we can really dedicate ourselves to developing this kind of concentration. And I think it's very important that even if we haven't got a lot of continuous time to give to it, that at the very least we should dedicate maybe 15 to 20 minutes every day simply on placement meditation, on concentration. That would be very, very good, very useful.
Shabbat Tebucha take it wa Tebucha take it wa, what the Janta take it check. Take it to check and take it to and the Shinja check, what to get check, what to get check. That never de la Casa Tamacha, that thing as a Togosa Tamacha was that Migba de la semi young to Hachuranda. Because Tamacha was with them, Migden and Jamban short wage. Migden the Jamban short on it. Jambata near Motovach. So Tamarazo. Namju komshishta mewa yinza tambo miwa toan toas tena kaza ye toit shita kyurubu tema tuwa chura deba shot wa wata deba shot da ane da tamache basara wata de ane mitela pas deba shot de la ane muesim tuwa chene muesim ne ane yanjo ma de kasota da kaja de kasota da miten kalpa sem shani shawa chiko to hotere
And so then, in terms of the fault, this one of laziness is counteracted, as we pointed out, by faith, this yearning aspiration, by perseverance, and by suppleness. And they begin with faith. And as we have found out in other contexts, faith is the basis. And this is all important here as well, that without faith at the beginning, the other different adjustments or antidotes that cannot be cultivated. And so we need that sense of faith, that confidence in the instructions, in the practice itself. And that's then we say the next of the faults is that we say that forget the instruction. And here is really losing focus is what it's about. Here, we try to sustain focus. We get distracted and we lose the focus. We can't recall the object. And so here the important thing is the antidote to this is awareness itself, mindfulness itself, to kind of bring the mind back to what it should be focusing on.
Jembade takban nation channel, Jembade takban nation channel, same the language solo check, and Jembade takban nation channel pata, Mipal Pata, your what about Jebe Simni, Mipal Jebe Simni.
So it's like mindfulness acts as the rope or the the rope, metal, so like when they tie elephants. So here is kind of the image is the elephant of the mind is kind of controlled by the hook to control the elephant. So mindfulness is that hook, or awareness is that hook, which brings the elephant back, from the elephant of the mind back from distraction or from losing its object.
That but the shishing get Jarachi Gudwa, shishing the Jarachi, shishing rather Jarachi, Dakaja, and Lamja, Jabasho, Lamja Westin, and Debe Westin to watch Gudwa. Debe Westin to watch. What Gudwa? So
this combination of the mental factors of mindfulness and alertness, and that alertness is really that which is doing a constant sweep of the mind, checking to see whether or not there is distraction, excitement, thinking, and so on. And then mindfulness kicks in to again bring the mind back if there is any disturbance or any loss of concentration, and back to perfect concentration again.
Similar part chat and called Mikbakala Sem Shayachi, Tenea, Sunda, and then Jamba the Shishing and the Jarachi, Jajakala Kanzamchik, or Jarachin, Takaja, Sem Korala, Nazunam, Bejutango Marimato, Lo Korala, Nansengi, and call Desemita, Mita Yora, Koramita, Koran, Legamita, or Chiki Yorba. That Legamita or Chicken was a Bejutan to Bachene. Bejutan to Bachavaina, and call Tata Bejutan and cook up Tata Sim to Bach, Bejuti cook up Tata Sim to Bachavaina, and Chigi, because of the lot of temple there to Eta, and the Nubache Yoeta. There is your good water, and Nudo, and the Chigi, Shuna Swan, and she top to get to each. Mozu, Yamle thought of Chigi or the Shuna Swan is a Tobaki Mato, because a Shuna Swan Nanshinki was in Yamle, Tata Watch with Yamle Chemato Inza. And was to Tola to Jetic Yorba. Then was to come Jaja Guyota, come Jaja Yanan, Chiwala show, Yanan Kobala show, Chiguinigi, and Kunini, Chiguini, the Takuma, the Japanese, Kunig Toa Chinchin. And then come Javi is good, come Javi, we kill a come Javi is good, and come the Yapucha, Chumato, Casa Chiguinigi, and Tortora. Chiguinigi Tortora Garjas was Jamba the Shishan and Puchiki and Pejutam had to watch it because Jajak Bena took you to tunju lo tige sha ane dene jaja kala kanzam chige ane kaso de sheshin ge jara chi kala kanzam chige ya ane sheshin ge jara chene ane ko yana jingwa yana gobala tugu na kaptu ngwe simba chene jembe ngwe simba chene ane takta chige ko lamgal takta tang tuba ina ane ko kanzam sone ane ko lo kombe jesu tugu za kanzam sa ko gom ane ko ane chige rangshu gu lete ge chagirwa rangshu gu lete stati kaka nyamnyu gu tuwa na chigo da dona teji nyamnyu ta nyamnyu sido dona matine nyamnyu saya khora yo marwa ta dona tene sem khora la dona tene kande chige chiwa kiri don kande chige koba kiri don ane dambu ge chishu de kaso de dama che basa sem mikpa ka ne tuwa chiyete ante mane bada lamja ngwe simba chene rwa ngwe simba chene mane bada ngwe sim tuwa chene di ge chishu da ngwe sim tsade ane ko mikpa ka ne tuwa chene ne tuwa chene ta tenpe ki ne tuwa so gugudwa ten gugudwa dambu sheshen ke jara chene shara sheshen ke jara chene lamja ngwe chene mikpa ka lamja bada tenpe ngwe chene gugudwa 다들 그 냠냠고 되는 샤고 그 믹스에게 샘 코란라 저기 당분에 소소 저기 가서 된데 저기 샘을 파 차치 체체네 아니 가시 자자 갈라 간zam게 자라지게 갈라 간zam게 안 데베 종게 아니 가서 샘에 누가 체슈도 미과 갈라 샤게 다들 저 가지 저 소소 냠냠고 되네 제고에 차대도가 다 당부 때문에 저기 레로도 매버서 이렇게 치슈려도 레로 매버서가 되게 배주다 그래서 레로 니보다 되게 배주다 다 레로 매버 차사소나 다 미바 좀도 양 제바 쇼트 니가 좋아 미바 마테 니가 좋다 당마 제도 니가 좋다 당마 제도야 돼 당마 제도나 약고 검장 대여서는 검 찾으면 좋아 당마 그 미바 가리 좀은 돼 당마 제바 미바도 쇼하다 하고 봐 제지 timbiqua ane ani tene tadi kasana kosode temba da sheshen ni pechu tang chene ata ta mi ba net was chegu do
So here we're talking about how to sustain quality focus on a desired object. And it's in case here one must be aware of how the mind operates, how consciousness operates, the different characteristics within any particular moment of mind as well. So here we're talking about, okay, we have a focus on a particular chosen object. And then we have like these qualities of mindfulness and alertness. They act as like the sentinels in a way to constantly keep as subtle a check as possible on that focus to see that it is a quality that is both clear and stable, and that any deviation from that then should be picked up by the alertness. And then mindfulness again establishes the correct attention of focus on the object. And so it's kind of like really in many ways from the outset where we need to focus, just simply focus on a chosen object and try to keep our mind on it as best as we can, that we are employing these factors of consciousness in a more and more subtle way. And that subtlety can only come from experience. And so it's really reaching the point where we can monitor and adjust our attention and our focus on the chosen object in a never more subtle way, so that after some time it becomes automatic. And we have the required levels of intensity of both clarity and stability in our focus. So it's kind of like understanding really the power that we have at our disposal to be able to cultivate such qualities like this. And in many ways, it's important for us to adhere to how these are described in the texts, and to kind of follow these texts when they describe, for example, the great faults of mental sinking and then mental excitement, to the two great faults of, or the two great obstacles to developing mental quiescence. And that, in many ways, we are constantly beset by these problems in our meditations as beginners. Even when we think we are meditating and having a good meditation, we are beset by constant distractions like this. And so here it's kind of like when one chooses to focus in this way, we're talking about maybe 70% of one's attention or a little more on the object that we're going to focus on and pay attention to, whereas then we have maybe 30% of our attention like with a side attention, which is occupied by our mindfulness and alertness, that are maintaining kind of quality control over that focus. And so it's very, very important to be able to make a habit of these good qualities of mindfulness and alertness, and not simply continue, as we are, where we're just beset by by thinking and mental excitement. And so here, it's all about creating the habit, creating the familiarity within the mind itself, the process of concentration itself, so that we make it as subtle and as automatic as possible. And that here, as we say, the second of these faults is forgetting the instructions, or losing the object of our concentration, of our focus. And so the antidotes are this mindfulness, and particularly mindfulness and alertness acting in tandem, really, to bring us back to that focus. Because after all, as beginners especially, it's kind of in a core sense that we need to commit to keeping our focus on the chosen object. And so here, mindfulness and alertness are absolutely indispensable. Again, is pointing out the kind of like the nature of the mind in a way, and us as beginners, that if you tell somebody not to think about something, they will think more on that thing. I'm pointing to the fact sometimes in Indian astrology, you can get your chart made, and you might get the instructions, in terms of particular days, and say, avoid thinking about the color black on Mondays. And of course, what do? You think about the color black on Mondays even more. Yeah, so it's the nature of our mind at present that it's so loose, with no control, that this is what happens.
and shopping cart je ko sam ko do ta tomato zore se zong zore kasna mo de ka go yo ma ta na wa ka e shaba sam ko ga ma ten na wa ta ran gal sam shan roda ropena 좀 된데 고 딱고 로라 차로 ta ran gal mi ke ja mare ong go shaba de ka sam chon ma ta wa chen 로라 차와 다가랑가라 셈샤샤죠 데마다 삼 가양 아니 마거르베 탑시 지지 더 보이콧 시바레 뭐지잖 너죠
it's advised that especially at the beginning that we use the body of Shakyamuni Buddha as an object of our meditation, as the object of focus. And here, this is not something that we're seeing with our eyes, but this is an image arising in our own minds. And we simply, allow that image to arise and then simply focus only on that image of the Buddha, without considering any other thought or allowing any other thought to arise in the mind or to interfere with that. And so we, as Kendra said, we boycott all other thought and simply keep the mind single-pointedly on the body of the Buddha arising in our mind. And so it's not like normally, we can do our meditation and then we shouldn't have something to put onto our shopping list, and so we're away talking about whatever it is that we need to buy. Here is saying you have made a strong determination. You bring up the image of the Buddha in your mind. You simply focus on that image, and that's all you have to deal with. No other thoughts are allowed. You simply boycott all other thoughts.
samlo cheda tumba inada cheda mitumba inada ta kari ina mena ane soso ge mikba ta tuwa la mingne gombo ina tuwa dima da shaba karita mana de obstacle de cheda tumba ina me kaya kulon de neke cha chaya ma ta ta ngozo tenge zo gom skeje sha ngodo ane tenge zige gek chagirwa.
So here this means that when we have decided that we're doing a meditation, concentration meditation, that we are so determined to maintain a focus on the object of our choice that any other thought is considered an obstacle, whether it is in harmony with the Dharma or not in harmony with the Dharma. It doesn't matter whether it's part of a good motivation or any other motivation. In this context, since we're developing concentration only, that becomes an obstacle to our practice.
어디래 다디자 다 나와 다가 랑갈 셈샤샤 다 변에 자자 어디 그래서 라마 토야 뭐 대검대 봐. 다 대검대도 다 가제 지금 가서도 아니 랑게 dü인데라 랑게 dü인데라 아니 투베 공부 랑다니 바지 차네 아니 다가라를 믹대나 데 아니 검사가 들어와 다가라를 믹대 샤잖아 아니 대 강충중 땡에서 공부는 강 충종라 어셈마 뒤다 개바 용서 강 충종라 밑에 샤투바이나 어때잖아 반다가 나왔다가라 두배하고 뭐 피게 쇼도 삼사 되게가는 두배하고 뭐 나왔다가라 가는 셈샷 나왔다가라 가는 셈샷 다되네 제 미바 걸어 때뭐 대두고도나 다 배드션에 톱 타바 임바이나 션에 톱 사소나 아니 mikwa dila ne shibe ngala pere jaje tuju geju mikwa dila ne shibe ngala ani tena ti sanje ge shangre ti sanje ge jeres ani sanje ge ani sheres ani yeres ui sukdores otaga odre chana cheba che tati dita tos niba chetre tenga je shene kala kaza tup saba che asem mikwa la ne tuba che ani sem ge surchigna deje ani 셴네티 돈도 니버체다 당겨요. 당겨요. 네, 다들 가서나 뭐 어떤 다들 지대별 한도서로 차대기로 와. 지대별 대별 한도데 다 돈이도 비싸라. 고베토는 조국으로 와. 다 지대별 한동서로 차기로 와. 되게 제자 한동서로 와.
And so that here, like we say, in the process of developing a mental concentration, it's an internal affair. That even though here we may choose to focus on an image of the Buddha on our crown, and we can emanate a replica body going out into space and allow that image to rise in our own mind, and that is our object of focus, without concentrating on anything else and considering any other thought to be an obstacle to the objective that we have in mind for this meditation. And so this is the way in which then we can gradually develop the mental quiescence, the level of concentration where we can effortlessly keep our mind focused on the chosen object without any distraction whatsoever. And I said, when one has developed that level of concentration, and then one can, within the mental quiescence focus, move the focus around the image of the Buddha that we are meditating on, to observe the nose of the Buddha, the eye of the Buddha, the mouth of the Buddha, and here one is using that aspect of analysis within the meditative mental quiescence. Now this is when we have developed this, and of course this is simply developing the worldly aspects of the combination of mental quiescence and special insight that we mentioned as one of the functions of meditative concentration. And so this increases in turn the intensity and the efficiency of one's mental quiescence. So we we have the appearance of the object of our focus arising in the mind. And our objective is to maintain this level of focus on the object solely with the required clarity and required stability. So in the text it describes how we need to look out for the two main obstacles to the successful focus on the object, being mental sinking and mental excitement. And that these in turn have varied levels of coarseness and subtleness to them. And so we deal with the coarser levels of mental sinking and excitement at the earlier stages of developing mental quiescence. And then we must be alert and mindful all the way through to be able to counteract the more and more subtle levels of mental sinking and mental excitement. So a more subtle mental sinking, for example, might look like that there is nothing much the matter with our focus, and that it has a level of stability still, but there might be a slight drop in the clarity of the object. And so we need to become very, very aware of this and very, very quickly in order to make the necessary adjustments. So here in the 8 that we're talking about here, we need to learn how to make these subtle adjustments. And this again comes through our experience. So whether we can sometimes over adjust from levels of sinking by rising the mind too much, and then we enter into the realm of excitement, and so therefore we have to readjust and bring the mind down slightly to maintain the levels of stability and clarity that we have become accustomed to in focusing on the object. And so this is a very important stage which covers different levels, the different stages of mental quiescence, several of them. And then as we get to closer to developing mental quiescence fully and totally, we reach a point where it becomes necessary to avoid these adjustments of mental sinking and to counteract mental sinking and mental excitement. And we need to resist, in other words, leaving well enough alone, and that we sometimes can be caught into adjusting when adjustment is not necessary. And so that's one of the 8 adjustments or antidotes. It says non-adjustment. Recognize that the focus is fine and you don't need to change it. So these are more subtle levels of developing mental quiescence. And so different levels of the counteracting forces to mental excitement and mental sinking, for example, that if we recognize that we have an excited tendency in our concentration meditation, we can take it aside and contemplate death in the form of impermanence, for example. And this can serve to, as it were, bring the mind down to equanimity again. And if we have mental sinking as an issue, then we need to raise the mind up a little bit by contemplating precious human rebirth of leisures and endowments and Buddha potential and so on, to kind of bring a certain sense of excitement and inspiration to the practice again.
What did the Chen Takaja Chikasola, Tigatica, and a Junjuna Swatch Watakade, Pena Hopkal, so the Bangal, Tuji Waina, Tuji Hopkal, Tamato Yugurwa. Lambda Yugurwa, Pena Sparta, Tabata, the Australia, Negative was a star of career.
The funnel event, yeah.
Yugurwata, what I did not touch in a lambda. Did the death of cheatage. What did the death of checkage? What death of checkage? What did number we said? What did the check?
So, in the Bodhisattva's way of life, Master Shantideva speaks in more kind of like immediate language and image. He says, it's like as if a snake falls into your lap. You immediately want to get it away, get it out again, get it off again. Or as Genna saying here in Australia, it could be a poisonous spider that suddenly lands on you. You want to sort of flick it off again as quickly as possible, lest you get bitten. And so it's kind of really saying that in recognizing, when one recognizes these faults of sinking and excitement, that it is absolutely paramount that we act immediately and we act decisively.
Shake Juchen and got the Gun the Mashu Tapsi Church, Gun Shubata Dematato, and Gun did the death of Church.
And so it's kind of knowing that we have both mental mindfulness, and alertness there as our sentinels, that as looking when we recognize that some fault has arisen in our focus, that we act immediately to counteract that fault.
Master Shandi Deva Pesha Baja Pena, Chumi, what they can, what Chumi can, Chumi can, that is can run. That Jalo me, Onja you can check that those boy, say in Baina. But that Onja Chazan you can check, say, Onja Chazan you mean Jalo the Dash, which is same Jimmy Kigua. Maguchi, Chumi Magus Takari Baina, Pena Chai Baina, Kaneti Rota. Tatalu Yovache, and the Jablo meeting those boy ina, say Yovaina. Say on the Chazan you can check that she would to be killed. That called the chimney the pet out of the China Karina Tigruata. Povata touch say on the Chazan you get meeting Yovaina. That's what the same she would Jimmy Kigruata.
So, another great image from Master Shantideva. He describes in developing mindfulness, one has to imagine that one is carrying some sort of container which is full of liquid, like I said, like even a mug of tea that's full to the brim, and you have to carry it, walk with it, but you have a person behind you with a sword pointing at you at your back, and should you drop, he's going to kill you straight away. So that's going to make sure that you're carrying with great care and you're focusing your mind very clearly on not dropping anything, because you know it's a death sentence if you do. So it's kind of like really taking it to that level, that when we focus on the object in our mind, that we have that sense of commitment to it.
What I didn't see, Kaja didn't see the Takaja, did you do any? Because the Takari was a simple Tumbush Jungurwa. Tumbush Jungurwa. And that didn't you want to go away, making sure that's so solid.
So again, says with that image, you're going to be very, very concentrated and very, very tightly focused, with absolutely no chance for mental sinking or mental excitement to arise, because you know it's going to mean your death.
Yeah. That's also several pretty Chedachar. And Cheda Naga Kaya never is any put up with your woman. But then never Giovanna. And she will put up with your Gurwata.
And so we have to embrace this sort of discipline and move away from this thing of, you know, I want my freedom, I want to do what I want to do. And that means you won't get anywhere.
What did it? What the Taka, that to get the 개치주 가서 다 셴고서 세다 두개 좀 받았다 녀몽 경우다 땡에서 교연차거도 야 교연데 랑 판부도 랑 종어라기도 다 들었습니다 해와 들었습니다 해와.
So what of course what's key what's underlying all of this is that just like when we talk about counteracting the mental afflictions, because we see the fault in them, here we also see that in the context of developing concentration, these aspects of laziness, etc., these are counteractive forces. They are false. I cannot develop concentration whilst also maintaining these kinds of faults. Therefore, I need to eradicate anything that is going to be an obstacle to my developing, cultivating concentration.
더더더 마사샨데 대와 니제 무슨 그래. 다들이야. pena soba kadol pena soba jan pena mikashe ta pena sosoro neba kyaba ina ya de neba kyege mide penta nyama keje segorwa neba kyege mide ene korangi background yabu yoba ina pena kyabo ta lubu ta de top chubu de yoba ina sosoro neba kyaba ina ane pa nene log mares nene loba ina ko background shukchobu yoba sosoro jongar agre samsam chene nele 지금 말 밑탑 해봐도 좋게 nele 지금 말 봤어 지금 말 봤다 진단시 전에 아니 먼저 소소 샤바라 너바 깨토바이나 너바 깨바이나 아니 코란조 백그라운드들라다 지금 배나 냐외가 수마라 속바다 아니 다 지금 소소라다 렌데가 돈에 동에 쉬우시 용해 여봐도 소소 심바이나 반너바 지금 말 봤어 그래서
liberty also the
pena ta dina she chana pena mi ka je mi tumbu ta mi smart tendege anu so mi shaba tendege ta so ne ba ke ba ina so ne ba ke ba ina ne ba ke ba ina pa len lo tu go yo ba ina ya pa khate cha tu go yo ba ina ya ko gi background la jab jor chige ke abo ta lumbu ta de bi top chebo de yo ba ina na so jong ra gi ba jong ra gi ene 판 너가 깨투고는 너가 깨고 말했어. 다 진능 신체는 나라도게 semje 수로이는 너가 깨는 지금 말했어. 코란의 백그라운드라. 야고 삼노당아이나 에네 마음 발라. 나라도로 동네 시우지 용해지. 배는 년송을 깨거든 년송을 깨봐 이런 년송을 아는 소소는 다 냐와라 깨봐 냐와는 소소는 너 깨게 되게지 코란이 잡조랬어. 안디 이제 되네 삼노당아이나 아니 시나 never get to him do. Never get to him do. What are better do.
Another wonderful example, again, as explaining from Master Shanti Deva. This is in the context of developing patience, and he's talking about, say somebody harms you, but you know their background, that they are a great, someone of great influence and great power. Then you're not inclined to seek revenge and retribution because you know it's going to be worse on you if you do. And so you leave it so. And so but he said you should take this attitude with everybody who harms you. Because if another harms you, then you have to consider that behind them, that background is that if you take revenge on them, then they have like the guardians of hell as on their side, and they're going to seek revenge for your revenge because you're going to put yourself into the hell realms, under their influence. And so you have to see that therefore revenge is never an option. Returning harm for harm is never an option because you yourself will lose out most of all because of that.
그래서 지금 샤디 대화게 빼샤단돼서 고 대보 아니 저기 고 대보다 아니 문에 다네게 가서 좀 생각해봐 님저 슈터도 항상.
Indeed, this is the wonder and the marvel of many of these examples used by Master Shatideva, in that they are both beautiful in a way, easy to understand, and also bound in valid reasoning.
그런 차도 너들 딱 아니 나면 어디 전에 딱 이제 저기 땡에 저기 예방가 뭐 두세 개그 돈에 아니 저기 그 땡에서 주다지 송고도 다 들라 나도 간통도 그 니마리를 다 저기 유리보 맞잖아 가마 주스 정하스다던데 아니 삼로 땅도나 야부 요서다 검자 이제 문제야 그 검거에 때에 인지 좀 거에 맞다 소소 배나 좀 먼저 답에나 데블 남겨지는 사 덤발 쿠르샤 안 따가람 검대네 지구요래 검대네 지구요래 왔다가자 딱 검세도 개치주도 가려서나 또 검지 대도 와 뒤에 삼로들라 유이들 검지 대도 와 검세 안 미빠디 덤발 쿨 나와 따가람 셈샤찬 나와 따가람 셈샤춘 안티 간 대도도 다 안티를 삼로 셔바 촌음 하고 같이 삼로 셔바 커서나 아니 다서데 고바 차도도 와 딩마자 하고 같이
And so then please be aware of these 8 adjustments to counteract these 5 faults in the process of developing mental quiescence, different levels of concentration, and that also to really try to spend some time each day, 10-15 minutes if possible, just on this aspect of meditation, developing a single-pointed focus, and just to really slowly build up a kind of habit of that. And so it's not necessary that you actually are sitting formally in a meditation space, but even in other contexts throughout the day, one can arise as a deity and focus on that particular image of a deity in your own mind. And that it's really just this determination that say, okay, for this 10 minutes or for this 15 minutes, that I'm not allowing any distraction in. I'm going to counteract distraction as soon as I'm aware of it. And that becoming aware of it also is part of the practice, using mindfulness and alertness. And just to remind yourself that, the word for meditation is glossed also as habituation. So it's really habituating yourself to the very process of concentration, and that this is how one can both lengthen and increase the quality of that concentration, and to really learn how to spot the mental excitement and mental sinking and so on in more and more subtle ways. And so we leave it there for today. And so then we bring our mind to focus on the figure of Guru Manindra Bajadara on our crown, and we establish a lotus sun and moon disk mandala seat at our own heart with the purpose of inviting our Guru deity to come and take that seat. And again we recite the invocation verse of Glorious and Precious Root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attendance of your body, speech, and mind. At the end of the first recitation, the figure begins the journey down through our central channel. At the end of the second, arrives at the heart center on that seat. And at the end of the third, we have the certainty that our Guru deity will remain with us until we attain the state of enlightenment. And this brings forth a sense of joy, of bliss to the mind.
And then because of the Nimpamatabje, Namju Ninata, she does find it, and the other Doji Zengabachi, Kache, and the Tagoto, and the Betsanga, Diet of Monimuni Mamunis or Korasum Japanese, and the Shamtilla, Omara Basadati, Tissin, and Korasum Japanese, Sangaliti, Shamtilla, and because of the Deading of Omayeta, my daughter, Tatakata, come to my shaman and swatting at the Korasum Japanese, what is a commercial, and the Ragi New Sutaka, shaja singe neba tile kule wesetuna rangi chibone kandiga palo wesetuna chane ane ta lu nga yisum chinang sansum ke ane chötube keken yosoba ba shiwa chungsu samsa kompashe chötube keken ta sozo lu da semla kange yodo kadama shiwa chaso lenye basawa kange shiwa chungsu samsa wadine kompashe ane ta gane sing 주시 커만이 주시 커니 맞자 롱 틸레게 아니 제 교연 잡아들 냐말라서 교연 잡아이나 안디가 교연되게 상네 안디가 야 수수 삼사체 안 하도도 아니 뉴도 상게라 아니 다 탐에게 나신데 교연 지슈이 봐 아니 탐에게 나신 탐제 가네 가나타제 답바람자 바시 차도 같다 야고 쉬우 좀소 소어들 공부시.
So then, from the Guru deity sitting at our heart center, the 8-petaled lotus now folds over that figure and is sealed at its point by a white 8-pronged vajra, and that then it's also encircled by the 3 mantras. The mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha, name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha in a clockwise direction, the Manjushri mantra of wisdom in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination in a clockwise direction. And then from within, light rays emanate from the figure at our heart, permeating through the lotus petals, and then permeating, pervading our whole body from the crown of our head to the soles of our feet, and into every cell of our body, eradicating all sickness, potential for sickness of body and mind, and eradicating all, making all, purifying all faults, and the negativities and health issues of body and mind are overcome, that any negative karmas are dealt with, that the 4 elements in the body are rendered stable, and that any faults connected with the channels, winds and drops also are overcome, they're purified, and that particularly our tendency towards ordinary appearance is overcome, and that eradicated, and that we see all with the exalted, pure appearance. And that this then is something that is, brings great joy to our body mind, and that we rejoice in that.
And so that's the long the and Lama Shaya said, good legislative and social, the Lama Shaya said, good social. That should send the language. Lama Shaya said, to the legislative and social, the Lama Shaya said, to the social Lunga, Yusum, the Lama Shaya said, Lunga, Yusum, or Yemechasu, some such. And near the near time that then Lama Shaya said, share how to do some sort of compassion.
And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind, more subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body transforms into the enlightened body of the Buddha. And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha as the cooperative conditions, my own mind is transformed into the mind of an enlightened being, a Buddha. And so now I develop this tremendous sense of joy and fulfillment, having seeing that my own body, speech, and mind are now inseparable from the body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being. This is wonderful. And of course, the place I am in also now is purified of all fault, and it becomes a pure celestial mansion. And then, seeing myself as a fully enlightened being, I send out countless rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings in all the realms of existence. And as the rays of light touch each sentient being, they spontaneously arise as fully enlightened Buddhas. And indeed, all the faults of place in which they are are purified, and those places are transformed into enlightened realms. And this is something, again, I rejoice in. This is wonderful.
That lamas comes to Simjata, the lamas shajas Kuzu to the Moyeme Juata, because of the Lamale Kuma Tomata, teach the Suzuki Wakar, then to go so to the Java, you didn't Matuba, you don't do some your money, something.
And this process of establishing all these sentient beings in enlightenment, the virtue that leads to that, the agent of that virtue, myself, all are lacking any objective existence and are merely imputed by thought. And I keep my mind on that thought as single pointedly as I can.
You don't do some about tea, and Tombate, and Tombet, Dewate, they don't use me, she gets some such.
From that thought, then we move into emptiness, then this produces bliss, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness.
That's some of the summary. When I did the canoe. In a that's some of the star tea, and give it our dilatene, and Nurdo, that dinner she do to again, 2 years on, Kagan the Java, your shows, your shows, watch it.
So we know we're only operating at the level of imagination now, but we make a very powerful dedication that just like this, that may it quickly become actually manifest for real, with all of the faults eradicated and all of the conducive conditions established. So I make this dedication like so. We do our Lamrim dedication prayer. Page 29. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I have amassed from working with effort to this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eyes is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives mentioned. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and peace. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as mighty hand, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. When Kappa
crown jewel of the sage slaves noses, blessing drop at your feet and make requests.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenda.